this living entity lives here. I will deliver them by the foot dust of my pure devotee. And he gave the qualification. So this morning I was thinking, Nirapeksham means they have nothing in the material world, no attachment. So I asked Maharaj, you look so happy. Maharaj said, I'm selfless sacrifice, I'm giving my life to Prabhupada. Nothing is there for me.
I never said selfless sacrifice. That would be kind of prideful. I said I'm giving my life to Prabhupada.
I see that Maharaj. And Maharaj doesn't have any material desire, separate interest from Prabhupada and Krishna. His
I just bring Don Govinda here to say nice things about me. We pay him for this, you know.
He's so humble, believe or not. I mean, I really mean it. He's too humble. Recently, we were in New Orleans. I mean, to some devotee, I may find a lot of fault. I could not find any good quality, but he picks only the good quality. He said, doesn't matter what happened in this world, he will never give up his service to maintain these deities. And it's true. It's very true. But we don't focus so much. Maharaj does focus. There is a big difference between him and others. So I'm really appreciating Maharaj for coming to bestow your blessing to all these souls.
Oh my God. How much do I owe you for that?
So we began the ceremony with purification. Of you.
Explain. We purify with mantra.
Yes.
And the devotees are going to recite this mantra, Om Pavitra Pavitrava Sarva Voshtam Gadobiva Yaksmaret Pundariksat Aksham Savaya Abhyantara Shuchi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. And what that mantra basically says, that no matter what your background is, whether you have a pure background, of course in Kali Yuga practically no one has a pure background, or whether you have an impure background, then simply Yaksmaret Pundarikaksham, by remembering the lotus-eyed Lord. Does anyone know who the lotus-eyed Lord is?
Krishna.
Who is he?
Krishna.
That's Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all the various incarnations, such as Lord Nrsimhadev. So by remembering the lotus-eyed Lord, one can actually approach the transcendental destination. Yaksmaret Pundarikaksham Savaya Abhyantara Shuchi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. One gets purified and can go back to home, back to God. And so this is an important mantra that Prabhupada had chanted before every fire sacrifice and before the lecture. This is Prabhupada's system. The mantra was chanted, and then the person who was giving initiation, in those days it was Prabhupada, of course, would actually give a lecture about initiation. Okay, so...
Should we start the Achman?
Yeah, the Achman right now. It's called Achman.
Do you have Achman cup?
So you take the Achman cup with the right hand, you take the spoon, little water, sprinkle on your left hand, throw it, and then you take the left. Yeah, just follow him.
Just once you rinse your hand. Again, you take 3 drops of water in your right hand. Everyone, please take 3 drops of water in your right hand, and you look at the water and please repeat after me. Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Om Keshavaya Namaha. Sip the water. Take a little sip, drop it.
And now just rinse once more. So again, we are going to do this 3 times. So looking at the water, please repeat after me. Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om
looking at the water, please repeat after me. Om Ma. Please repeat.
Are you keeping up? Rinse it again.
Please repeat. Om Apavitra Pavitro va Sarvavastha Gatopi va Yasmare Pundarikaksham Sah Bhaya Abhyantaraha Shrihi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu.
You ready?
Should we do Brahma Samhita now or later?
Later.
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 So they can get all the initiates can get garlands.
Yeah, everyone gets a garland.
Initiates can get their garlands.
Okay. Then I speak now, right?
Yes.
Maharaj.
Okay.
So someone can
So-
put garlands for me.
Okay, so Om Ganat Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unminitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So we are all here today due to Srila Prabhupada's mercy. And as we mentioned when we were talking about this prayer at the beginning, Om Pavachara, etc., that every one of us, even those who come from India and have a relatively pure background, I'm saying relatively, still, even though your background might have been pure and you may not have eaten meat your whole life, you may not have broken the regulated principles your whole life, still here without Prabhupada's mercy. Because 99.99% of the people, even in India, who have a pure life, don't really understand what's called the Siddhanta. Now, what does Siddhanta mean? Siddhanta means perfect conclusion. That is, people don't know because, for those of you who don't know, and there's more religions than the rest of the world combined, I think. And more languages in India. How many languages are there in India? Anyone remember? What? 422. No, including the Aboriginal languages, I think it's more than that. I think it's thousands of languages and dialects in India. So, and there's many different philosophies. And there's many different people who propagate the Vedic literatures and give their own philosophy in the name of the Vedic literatures. I mean, recently there was one of the devotees in ISKCON who didn't have enough discrimination, and he actually preached strongly against one of the different spiritual leaders in ISKCON. And you definitely don't want to do that. We're not preaching against position. What Prabhupada did is, if he heard about a particular leader, let's say theoretically there was a spiritual leader who said he was God, which happens in India. It's quite common. You got a lot of gods in India. We're not only talking about the Dasha avatars, the incarnations, the Vishnu Tattva deities, but practically in the 1960s, when I became acquainted with Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada made the statement that practically every week a new god is coming from India to America. So, so many people, I'm God, you're God, we're all God. I remember even in the early days I was preaching at the universities, not this one here, I forget which university, I think it was Gainesville University of Florida. And the student told me that I'm God. And I said to him, if you're God, I must be God too. So if you're God, I'm God, we're all one, so and I took his bicycle away from him. So your bicycle is mine. Because it's mine, what is yours is mine, and what is mine is yours, and I'm a brahmachari, I don't have anything anyway. So So many different, what's that?
Did he get it?
No, he got really angry and gave up his godhood. God became free. He became full of anger at that point. So the point is that in India, all these different philosophies, and many people are Vaishnavas. That's true, but the majority of people who are worshiping Krishna, even as Vaishnavas, are worshiping either for liberation, jnana, or they're worshiping for bhakti. Bhakti means something in this world. Just like, and you'll have to forgive me for this, like there's a famous ceremony called Satyanarayan Katha. Please don't get angry with me. Where people tell stories about how people worship Krishna, got all this benefit, got a new car, got a new wife. Sorry about that one. And everyone gets, oh yeah, let's do this. Even there was a Buddhist cult too that did the same thing. It's called the Nam-myoho Regnic cult. Don't do it. So they would chant. Some of you may remember that in the 1960s. And then they would all talk about what they got during the week with each other. This week I had a good business deal. I made a lot of money. So in any way, the people, even if they're worshiping Krishna, they don't understand what's called the prayojana. They don't understand sambandha, avideya, or prayojana, the three aspects of spiritual life. Now, what is that? What are those three aspects? Sambandha means to know something called the tattvas. I'll explain that in a second. A tattva means some category of something that is eternal. I'll give you an example of one. Jiva soul, souls, jivas. We're called jivas, soul, we're eternal. Krishna says that. Another category is Krishna, who is the supreme soul, and of course he's eternal, and he's a person. Another category is something called the Shakti, or Krishna's energies, which are divided parts, the internal energy and the external energy. Internal is the spiritual, Chit Shakti, and the external is where we are right now, like this wood, computer, whatever it is. That's all external energy of the Lord. So that's what we call sambandha knowledge. Technically in Sanskrit it's called sambandha gyan, which means knowledge. And then very few people know that, and even fewer people know about something called abhideya. What is abhideya? Abhideya means how to progress in spiritual life, and what do you do about that knowledge? So abhideya for us, according to Srila Prabhupada and according to the Vedic literatures, and actually you can't understand the Vedic literatures without the help of someone like Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Mahabharata, Tarko Pratishtha Shutina, Vibhina, that the Vedic literatures are variegated. In other words, there's some level of spiritual advancement, whatever you want to think, you can take things out of context and misunderstand everything. This is a quote from the Mahabharata, Tarko Pratishtha Shutina, Vibhina. But the ultimate conclusion is, if you want to understand the Vedas, Mahajayanena Gata Sabhanta, to follow in the footsteps of a Mahajan, right? And of course, how many Mahajans there are. I mean, people can be called Mahajan, like I can rubber stamp someone and say, oh, you're a Mahajan, you're a Mahajan. Prabhupada said, for someone who's interested in money, a businessman would be a Mahajan or Mahatma. So, for example, Bill Gates, he's a Mahajan under that particular standard of judgment. Not according to the Vedic standard of judgment. I mean, he's a nice guy. We'd like to cultivate him and have him help build a temple here. But in any case, or if someone is a big politician, then maybe, oh my God, I don't want to mention names. Anyway, maybe some American politician is they're Mahajan, they follow him blindly. I'm not going to mention names. And so everybody has their own idea of Mahajan. Mahajan means a great person, basically. So we don't know. We have to find out a Mahajan. And actually the Vedic literatures tell us who is a Mahajan. There's Mahatmanas Tumam Parta Davrum Prakriti Mahashata Bhajan Chinanya Manasho Gyatva Utadam Avyam. Who is a Mahajan? One who is always worshipping Krishna, according to Bhagavad Gita. Everybody in India accepts Bhagavad Gita, but most people don't know what it's teaching. So we hear what a Mahajan is. Okay, everybody has a mala. We hear what a Mahajan is from Krishna himself. He gives the definition. But someone who is always worshipping Krishna has no other activity other than worshipping Krishna. And Prabhupada is such a Mahajan. So by Prabhupada's mercy, we found out about something called Abhideya. That's the second aspect of devotional service. How to perfect your spiritual life. And Srila Prabhupada, in presenting this Abhideya, because he's a member of disciplic succession, he presented things exactly according to this great Acharya Rupa Goswami presented it. And Rupa Goswami presented it exactly as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented it. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented it according to Srila Vyasadev's presentation, Evam Param Pravtam, Imam Rajarsha Yogadahu. So Mahajan comes in disciplic succession. He's always worshipping Krishna for the right purpose, comes in disciplic succession. And another point about a Mahajan is really interesting. A great Uttama Adhikari like Prabhupada, the quality is just by seeing him, you want to chant Hare Krishna. I remember the first time I saw Prabhupada, or even heard Prabhupada on the radio. That was a great fortune to hear Prabhupada on the radio. And I started chanting. It was like spontaneous. It was like Krishna in my heart started dancing. And that's a fact that Brahmanda Brahmate Konna Bhagwan Jeev Kru Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Latapish. That we are wandering in the material world and we come in touch with a Mahajan, and then he implants the seed of the creeper of devotion, and then Krishna Hriyanta Stoya Vadrani Virunoti Sarutsatam. Then Krishna in the heart starts to purify you. And this is really what happens, and that's Prabhupada. So by Prabhupada's mercy, we understand Abhideya, what to do. Of course, what we do, and I'm going to integrate this into the initiation, don't worry. What we do is perform bhakti or sadhana bhakti, and then when we're very advanced, we perform the higher aspects of sadhana bhakti, which we perform bhava bhakti. And when we're very, very, very pure, and you'll know it when you're pure, Krishna will shake your hand. Like he did with Lord Brahma. He said, "How do you do? My name is Krishna." "What's your name?" "I'm Brahmaji." There's Brahmaji. "I'm Brahmaji. How do you do?" Anyway, so in this way, that's how you know. What is it? Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilojena Sandakshadava Hridiyeshu Vilokiyanti. You're always seeing Krishna in your heart of hearts. You have no other desire other than to do anything else. So that's the higher stage. But right now, this initiation is part of a process in sadhana practice called Vaidhi, which Prabhupada has taught us. Rupa Goswami has taught us. Prabhupada taught it in the Nectar of Devotion, this wonderful book, which is a summary study of Bhakti Rasa Rita Sindhu of Srila Rupa Goswami. So this is Vaidhi Bhakti. And what you do in Vaidhi Bhakti, Vaidhi means rules. Now, you may say rules. I don't like rules. Everything should just be spontaneous. Well, that's all right if you're on a higher level. If you're on the level of ruchi, a taste, and you have no dirty things in your heart like lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy, fear, then go ahead, be spontaneous. But for the rest of us Prabhus, we have these rules to follow. So you may say, "I don't like following rules." Well, I can tell you something, I don't like them either. But, but if they have a purpose, you just have rules for the sake of rules, nobody likes them. Like Prabhupada said something very funny in the beginning days of the movement. The devotees who were with Prabhupada in the original temple at 26 Second Avenue would sometimes sneak over to the nearby donut shop. You know, donuts. And Prabhupada made a play on words, talking about the four regulated principles: no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, gambling. And Prabhupada said, we have so many donuts in the Krishna consciousness movement. You know, just, it's basically the same word, do-nots, donuts. So then the donuts, or do-nots, I may not be attractive to all of you, or some of you, but when you have a purpose, then they become attractive. Because if you follow things, whether they're the do-nots or donuts and do-dos or do whatever it is, whatever it is, whether it's the do's or the nots, or as they say in yoga, yam and niyam, these are the Sanskrit words. If you just follow them without a purpose, then it's not valuable. This is called in Sanskrit niyam agraha. That means to follow the rules and regulations without, just like as a ritual. You do this, why you get up in the morning, why do you chant? Well, I'm supposed to, I have to, it's my duty. That's all right. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I was just reading Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Chaitanya Shikshamrita today, and he says, sometimes, someone's phone is going off. Is that mine? No. But he says people follow rules and regulations for 4 different reasons. One is because they're afraid. You're going to hell. You heard that one? I heard that one the first time I talked to a devotee. The devotee told me I was going to hell unless I shaved my head. And I look like Satya Sai Baba with a beard. For those who know Satya Sai Baba. But anyway, hippie. So devotee told me that. It was actually in Florida. Devotee told me, I said, you're going to hell, Kali Yuga's coming, you're going to be as short as a dwarf, you're going to be living underground, eating human flesh. Join immediately. I said, goodbye. Because I don't do anything out of fear. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the first thing, people follow religion out of fear. And you see that a lot, whether it's in India or, people are very fearful and they do their rituals. Oh, right now it's Purushottam Mas. I'm not supposed to get married during Purushottam Mas. I'm not supposed to do this or that. I'm not saying you should get married. I'm a sannyasi, I should never say that. But anyway, you hear these things, right? And everyone goes, oh, I'm scared. If I do this, or don't do that, then Yamaraj will come and get me. So you hear all these things. So out of fear you may do something. I'm going to chant my rounds every day, because if I don't chant my rounds, oh my God, I'll go to hell. And so it's almost better than nothing, but it's really not too much better. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the second stage is the one follows the rules and regulations because of some reward. If I do this, then my business will be successful. I get this all the time. People come to me and say, Maharaj, bless me. I'm coming to you to take shelter at your lotus feet because I have this investment. I want you to bless my car. Sometimes they come to the temple. People come to the temple and they say, can you bless, they actually say, I'm giving my car to Krishna. I hear this all the time. I said, I wanted to offer my car to Krishna. I said, well, thank you. We need a new sanctuary vehicle. And they said, no, that's not what I want. I want you to bless it, and then I take it. One time I was doing a fire sacrifice when I used to perform fire sacrifice, and people put all these gold coins around the sacrifice. 1 ounce gold coins. This is in Mexico. And I was going, wow, this is the best sacrifice I've ever done in my life. And then after the sacrifice, I said, thank you very much for the gold coins. And they said, no, we were just purifying the gold. Actually, you purify something by offering to Krishna. And really offering Yad Karosi Yadashnashi Yashdahoshi Chitashi. Anyway, that is what purifying means. Not just just give it and take it away. In America, and this is no reflection on people from India, there's this thing called an Indian giver, where you actually give something and take it away. But that's a reference to American Indians, actually. So anyway, so people follow the rules because there's some reward. That's the second stage. Third stage is because of a sense of duty. So that's getting higher. You understand? But the highest reason to follow the rules of bhakti and that's what we're doing here. This is called bhakti yoga. It's the yoga of love. People like that in the 1960s. Probably still do. It's the yoga of love. And people, we explain that to people, think it's something it's completely different than it actually is. They think, oh my God, sounds good, The yoga of love. So, but it is the yoga of love, because if you're doing something and you have the objective to love Krishna, you love Krishna, and then everything becomes easy. The rules and regulations are just simple, because you're thinking, what will please Krishna? What will not please Krishna? And you act accordingly. Of course, thinking about that involves a really high level of consciousness. So what do we do in this world to have that high level of consciousness? And Krishna is all the way up there, or is in the heart too. So therefore, Krishna sends his representative, the spiritual master. Just like in my relationship with Prabhupada, I would probably say I'm more Prabhupada conscious than I'm Krishna conscious. I have to be honest about it. And it's just like, I'm thinking, so interesting. So whatever the age it was, so there's some thought in my mind. Let me just go to Govardhan and say goodbye, cruel world. Goodbye, cruel world. There's a song like that from the 1960s. So why just go to Govardhan and just chant, be happy? I joined this movement to chant, be happy. I am happy, but I was thinking maybe I'll be happier just by Hey Radhe Brajate Bake, Hey Nanda Shuno Kuta, being like the 6 Goswamis. Sorry. Jai, Shri Gauranga Jai, Krishna Balaram Ki Jai. So, like the 6 Goswamis, just going around Govardhan and Vrindavan chanting Radharani Krishna, where are you? Wow, what an ecstatic life. It's attractive when you think about it. And because now we have to deal with so many things, like in the GBC, so many things, running a society, there's always so many challenges in running a society, or especially when you get older. And not too many perks. You can't eat the same way you did when you were young. Forget about the Mahaprasadam. So anyway, but then I'm thinking like that, so I resign, just lead a nice life. And then I hear Prabhupada saying to me, you rascal! But that's love. I mean, in India, you call someone a rascal, that's really heavy, isn't it? I didn't know that when I first went to India. I thought it was a cute, endearing term like we have in America. Aren't you a cute little rascal? I said that to someone, almost in Bengali, I sent it to an Naxalite. I don't know if you know what an Naxalite is, but anyway. And that was almost the end of this lifetime. So, but I hear Prabhupada saying that to me, but for me, I am Prabhupada's rascal. It's interesting. The relationship doesn't change. The spiritual master leaves the planet, and the relationship gets stronger. It gets stronger. Like Prabhupada said in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when the spiritual master leaves, if one's dedicated to the mission of the spiritual master, then one actually sees the super soul and connects even more to the spiritual master, dedicated to the mission of the spiritual master. So, in my mind, that's what really keeps me fixed in Krishna consciousness. That relationship with Prabhupada. And everyone who's taking initiation today has that direct relationship with Prabhupada. We're all servants of Prabhupada. Regardless of who our spiritual master is, we have a relationship, of course, with our guru, the Shiksha gurus and Diksha gurus. But Prabhupada is the overriding factor. And of course, we often say the predominant Shiksha guru for everybody in the International Society for Krishna. But we're all working for Prabhupada. So disciples often ask me, how can I serve you, Guru Maharaj? And I say, serve Prabhupada's mission. I don't have a separate mission. I don't have a separate life. I don't have a separate desire. It's just serve Prabhupada's mission. And then I'm extremely happy, and Prabhupada becomes happier with me. So that's really the point. So anyway, getting back to the point, Prabhupada taught us Abhideya, following the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami. And so we follow the rules and regulations to please Krishna, to please Prabhupada, to please our spiritual man. That's bhakti. Why does someone take care of their children? Because they love their children. Why does a mother change the diapers on her child? Well, why does she like to do it? That's the question. Because the love is there. Had my baby shoes she would worship every day. Bronzed. You seen them? Yes, you see them. So later on, one of my followers took them. Baby shoes. Guru Maharaj's baby shoes. So anyway, but that's love. And Prabhupada said that the quintessential expression of love in this material world is the love a mother has for her children. So we can learn from that. That's almost causeless love right there. I mean, we never really appreciate how much our mother, even I don't, up till, last year or two, when you're young, you don't appreciate how much your mother loves you or loved you when she was on the planet. It's just like, so you're young, you don't understand these finer points of life. So we can look at that model of how the mother loves the children and take that and sort of transpose that to an unlimited degree in relationship to the guru-disciple relationship. It's like, and you see Prabhupada's a perfect example of that love for his spiritual master. And it's not a sentimental love. Prabhupada's very life was dedicated to carrying out the order of his spiritual master. He loved his spiritual master, but the love was evidenced by his actions. Sometimes people will say, well, I love Krishna, I love Prabhupada, I love, this. But what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? So love has to translate into action, otherwise it's infatuation. Like the husband says to his wife, I love you, I love you, I love you, and he doesn't go to work and buy her any new saris. What's the use of such a husband? Or he doesn't maintain her, What is the use? Then what is this love? It's just like exploitative. I want to use you. I want to use my position as your disciple. I want to use my position and enjoy you. This is the material world, the cheaters and the cheated. It's part of the material consciousness. So we are actually trying to develop real love. And when one loves Krishna, one has that love for Guru, founder Acharya, then that love translates into love for everybody. Because Lord Chaitanya's teachings are Jiva Doya, Nama Ruchi. Vaishnava Seva. Serving the Vaishnavas. Jivadoya means compassion for everyone, love for everyone. That means down to the insignificant insect. Right? In the insignificant bug or amoeba. It's hard to love an amoeba. I have to try that one day. Look at my microscope and say, there's that little paramecium there down there. I love you. Anyway, but that paramecium has his heart. Whatever a heart is for a paramecium, I don't know. But he has Krishna wherever. But Krishna is there, and Krishna loves them, and Krishna just loves them so much he's waiting for them to turn back to him. That's how much Krishna loves. So the universe is filled with Krishna's love. And all Krishna is asking for us is to reciprocate that to a little degree. And then he gives us unlimitedly in return. So this is Bhakti Yoga. It's not Hatha Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. It's a love, but love evidenced by action. And so we're talking about Abhideya, the process of devotional service, which these devotees are doing right now, Vaidhi Bhakti. They're promising to follow 4 regular principles and chant 16 rounds a day. And every time there may be some challenges or struggles, just think of the person, Krishna, Prabhupada, your guru, and this will actually inspire you to continue in spite of the most difficult circumstances. I mean, I could say, in my own life, I never had to make up rounds from one day to another. Even if one day I was sick, lying in bed with high fever, I chanted my rounds in bed. Because that, to me, that was first priority, the connection with His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So, anyway, so these are the promises you make. And not only because you're doing it with love, you're going to avoid certain things that interfere with that love, which are the 10 offenses. Anyone's heard of 10 offenses? No. 10 offenses against chanting. 10 offenses against chanting. There are other offenses too. I mean, there's so many offenses like that. But the primary ones dealing with the holy name are as follows. Actually, there's 11, to tell you the truth. The first offense is to consider the names of the demigods, like blaspheming the devotees. Blaspheming the devotees of the Lord who have dedicated their lives to propagating the holy name of the Lord. That's called Vaishnava Aparada, which is like a mad elephant offense. So take it in the positive. Serve the devotees who have dedicated their lives to propagating the holy names of the Lord. Serve them. That's all. Amanina, manadena. Every offense can be taken in the positive instead of in the negative. I like to think positively. Because if you just think, I'm not supposed to do this, not supposed to do that, not supposed to do that, I just think, I honor all the Vaishnavas, and then automatically the do-nots or the donuts become covered at that point. So the second offense is to consider the names of the demigods, like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, to be equal to or independent of the holy name of Lord Vishnu. And instead, just think Lord Vishnu is non-different from his name, and everyone else is different from their name. And demigods are servants of Krishna, and we respect them. Don't disrespect them. Respect them. They're servants, but they're not God. Like even Prabhupada got very upset at a certain juncture in the movement when devotees started to say, certain devotees said that Prabhupada is God. And devotees, Prabhupada got extremely upset because that's impersonalism. So, and then the third offense is to disobey the order of the spiritual master. But of course we don't follow blindly. Prabhupada said blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. So we have the way that we could approach the spiritual master and say, what do you mean by that? Do you think that that's the best strategy? I mean, one of Prabhupada's closest disciples, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, would sometimes have, very heated discussions with Srila Prabhupada about different strategies, but it was all based on pleasing Krishna. And he was, like that with Srila Prabhupada. The same thing with Bhakti Maharaj. So, Anyway, so and then so the next offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literatures or literatures that are in accordance with the Vedic literatures, any religious literatures. In addition, we do not criticize anyone of any religion who's worshiping God, because they are worshiping God also in Chaitanya Shikshamrita, which I was reading today. Bhakti Vinod Thakur said we should appreciate that so the externals are different. They may not dress the same, they may not have the same rituals. That's all right, as long as they accept there's one God and they're worshiping God and they're chanting His name. And that's beautiful. I mean, many times I've gone into ceremonies of other religions and it's really beautiful. I remember I went to one ceremony of like a religious group that was a very big. They had like 30,000 people in the stadium that they did music. And this was called the Hillsong Church. Some of you may have heard about that before. So I was there and I was jiving along with them. Of course you don't know what jiving is. I was dancing along. So anyway, so we should respect all other religions and other religious scriptures. We don't respect impersonalism, voidism, materialism, but we do respect any worship of God that advocates you should love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and all thy might. So, anyway, so and that's also an offense to disrespect them. So the next offense is to consider the glories of Hare Krishna, or the holy name, or any of the Lord's holy names, to be imaginary. They're not. Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukto Vinatvam Namanamino. Krishna is there in His name. You say Krishna. Next offense is to give some crazy, perverted interpretation of Krishna's name. There are bona fide meanings of Krishna's name. For example, the acharyas say, Krish means to attract, and Na means it's short for Ananda. So by chanting Krishna, 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 you'll get attracted and you become blissful, practical, right? So next offense after that is to commit sins on the strength of chanting. That means some people think, oh, because when I chant I get rid of all the karma, bad karma, good karma, prarabdha karma, aparabdha karma, etc. Then I can do any damn thing. I can chant Hare Krishna between each sip of beer. Because beer is also a Bengali word. My name has that too. But it's not exactly the same thing as the beverage. So, because Prabhupada spoke Bengali, so he wrote my name down with a B-I-R. Okay. So the next offense is to consider chanting to be like a ritual. We talked about rituals before. Well, here chanting. I'm self-realized now. It's like the time I was at Govardhan, someone put on the loudspeaker system a flute playing, and I thought, wow, I'm hearing Krishna's flute. Finally, after all these years. So the miracles of modern technology. You don't have to perform sadhana anymore. So anyway, so to consider Krishna, I hear Krishna calling. So you don't have to perform sadhana anymore. And anyway, so getting back to the point, so rituals means things you just do for the sake of doing it, and you think that Hare Krishna is just another ritual. Like we have rituals in the Krishna consciousness. One of them is the dhoti. I wear a dhoti. I like it. Prabhupada liked it. Why do I wear a dhoti? Well, for several reasons. I like it. And secondly, helps me remember Krishna. Thirdly, it helps people understand my particular position. And it helps me with my own mission of speaking Krishna consciousness. I've tried different means of dress. I mean, at one university program I tried dressing Western clothes, and people thought I was just one of the guys. Wasn't very effective. So I thought, there's an expectation if someone's a Swami, they're going to look a little different, right? They're not going to look like Joe Blow anymore. Is that true? There's that expectation. Even university students have that expectation. Here's a Swami. Well, he doesn't look like my dad.
Grandfather.
Grandfather, sorry about that. So it looks like my grandfather. And I never listened to my grandfather anyway. So, but it's not going to make you Krishna conscious, just like when I took sannyas in 1978. I thought it was going to make me Krishna conscious. It didn't. What made me, if I am Krishna conscious, which, anyway, don't ask Prabhupada Govinda. So, if I am Krishna conscious because of my dedication to Prabhupada, which has nothing to do with how I dress, the ashram I'm in, or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. Someone can dress in any way, be wearing shorts, and still be 100% in different places in India. They have big sikhas, small sikhas, different types of sikhas. And I said, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he shaved off his sikha, because that was the standard then. And he got rid of the Brahman thread, because a sannyasi is supposed to be, dead according to society. So he gets rid of all the external society normal signs. Wears tilak. So these are all rituals, but the chanting is not a ritual. The worship of the deities is not a ritual. It's directly Krishna. When we worship the deity, it's Shakshi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nitai, or Krishna Balaram, directly. These are not rituals. But if you approach them as rituals, that's all they will be for you. That's Niyamadra, which I mentioned before. So, the ninth offense, we're almost finished with the offenses. I know I'm speaking a long time, but that's what happens when you have the bully pulpit. Anyway, so, so the ninth offense. The ninth offense is to preach the glories of the Lord to people who can't hear it and might commit offenses. Prabhupada said the faithless. What that means, let me translate that. What that basically means is that you actually understand who you're talking to before you open your mouth. And so you're careful, just like the person who preached to me before, when I first came into Krishna consciousness and drove me away. He didn't understand he was talking to someone who had some attachments. So he gave me some fear of God, but I wasn't into the fear of God. So you have to understand who you're talking to. That's expert sharing of Krishna consciousness. I'm not using the word preaching. Expert sharing of Krishna, and we share Krishna consciousness. Whatever you're interested, yes, we'll share with it. But if you're not interested, we won't talk to you about that. Like even a great devotee, Gorkashordas Babaji Maharaj, he would sometimes just talk to people about mundane things because they weren't ready for it. Because Upadesho himorkanam prakopaya nashantaya. Sometimes if you give someone who is not intelligent good instructions, what happens? They get angry. Oftentimes I tell this to people who are married, one partner is a devotee and the other partner has not yet become a devotee. I'm not going to use the word demon. So there's no demons. Everyone is just forgetful of Krishna. So, and they say, I'm just preaching to my husband or wife. Gotta chant. And I said, that's the opposite of what you want to do. You can't. Like Prabhupada had a sister, and his sister was married to someone who really was a drunkard and did all sorts of things, eating meat and everything. And the sister was just very nice to him, and eventually he got transformed and became a great devotee of the Lord. So, through love, we have so much bhakti, it'll be like Prabhupada, it'll just come out and affect everybody in the proximity. I remember it was like that with Bhakti Chumaraj. Anyone who was around him felt that devotion. And Prabhupada, when first time I met Prabhupada, I thought I was a pure devotee just by being in the same room with Prabhupada. I was wrong. But I turned around to the other brahmacharis in the ashram and I said, we're all coward boys in the spiritual world. We've realized our siddha, a spiritual body in the spiritual world. I thought we've realized it. They said, yeah, we're all coward boys. We're all associates of Subal and Sudam, and we're going back to Godhead. I mean, I was so crazy. In the early days, when I would take a rest at night, I'd say, Krishna, please kill me tonight so I can go back to Godhead. I'm ready. Krishna didn't listen to that prayer, thank God. So basically, we understand who we're talking to. That's compassion. And we approach people in a very loving, compassionate way. I mean, I was just speaking to one devotee who's our biggest book distributor in North America. His name is Mahot Saha. I just had a meeting with him. And he's such a loving person, you know. Anybody would take a book from him, isn't it? He's just like epitome of love. And he doesn't always dress in a dhoti. Sometimes he dresses at something called the Comic-Con. Anyone's heard of Comic-Con? He dresses at Comic-Con as Darth Vader or something like that. And he distributes that everybody takes books from him. And so that's really the method of sharing Krishna consciousness. Don't commit that offense of saying something that's above someone's level of ability to understand or acceptance. And then the last offense of the 10, there's one more after that, is to not have complete faith in the chanting of Hare Krishna, maintain material attachments. It's not offensive to have material attachments, but one understanding the process should be gradually doing this thing called the nartana vritti, getting rid of unwanted things. That's all. Because the unwanted things are lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy. These things cause us pain. These things are not causes of pleasure. No matter how much you think lust is good or envy is good, or there was one person in Wall Street who used to say greed is good. I don't know if anyone remember him. Someone may remember. Greed, it's not good. It just causes you, it's like trying to put out fire by putting gasoline or petrol on the fire. It just like increases more. You're never satisfied. You can have $1 billion. You'll think you need another $1 billion. You can have a house with 20 rooms. You'll think I need a house with 50 rooms. You can only sleep in one room at a time. Isn't it? You have these people with big mansions. I mean, how are you going to deal with it? And they're very unhappy, and their divorce rate is very high, isn't it? These really famous, super rich people. So I'm not saying we like famous or super rich people, but that's not the source of happiness. So we try to understand to get rid of lust, anger, greed, delusion. And then the final overriding offense is to be inattentive while chanting, because that inattention, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, overrides all the other offenses. It's not actually part of the 10th offense. The way Prabhupada explained it, it's also inattentive. It's also offensive to be inattentive while chanting. Bhaktivinoda mentions it as something that's connected with all the 10 offenses. Anyway, so that's the negative or the positive, the way I was presenting it. And then we study Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshashtika, and that's his verses in the Shikshashtika will teach us the right mood to approach the holy name according to our level of realization. Particularly Prabhupada liked one verse in that regard, which was Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Buddhitam Mam Vishame Brahmamudo Kripayad Prabhupada Bhakta Jai. Jai! Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda Ki Jai! Krishna Balaram Ki Jai! So, just as I was citing their verse, they came. Which means, O son of Nanda Maharaj, I'm your eternal servant, yet somehow or other I've fallen into the horrible ocean of birth and death. Please fix me up as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. And so that's the mood. Prabhupada said you should be crying when you chant, not crocodile tears, because you have, alligator tears here in Florida, not crocodile tears. But anyway, not imitation like some actor or actress, like that. So if you're doing that, then you'll achieve Krishna consciousness very soon. You're serving the Vaishnava. This is the recipe. It's a simple process. It's simple for the simple. It's a very simple process like that. So, not a process. It's a simple thing from the heart. You just follow from the heart. You try to please Krishna. You try to please Krishna's pure devotee. You try to please Srila Prabhupada, and then, it's easy. Yasha prasada bhadava prasada. Not hard to become Krishna conscious, but you have to have a purpose, like I mentioned in the beginning. If you don't have a purpose, it's very hard to do it because you're going against the tide here in this culture, or in all cultures, in Indian culture too. I mean, Indian culture right now is becoming just like Western culture. I have some disciples in India, and Praneshwar, he was telling me about that. He said, before he was married, he said, where am I going to find a wife? I said, you know so many people in Delhi. He said, that's the problem. I know so many what they're like in Delhi. So everywhere in the world is very contaminated. It's Kali Yuga. Kalayar Doshana Haye Rajan Ashe Mahatmana. Kirtanadeva Krishna Shah Mukta Sangha Paramajat. Only by this chanting. All right, I'm almost finished, don't worry. And then there's the second initiation. We have two nice devotees taking second initiation. Parajita Radhika and her mother taking second initiation. They've come all the way from New York. Country of New York. Where the liberals are. Florida is like a conservative country, right? It's illegal to be liberal. So anyway, enough political jokes. So the second initiation is as follows. That's very quick. That one Samadhamak Paksho Jam Shantir Arjuvadeva Jat Yana Vijnana Mastikam Brahmakarmas Bhavajam. I'll explain that very quickly. One fixes their mind on becoming equipoised, self-controlled, accepting things favorable for Krishna consciousness, rejecting things unfavorable. That's tapa, that's austerity. It's not hard austerity. It's easy austerity because you're doing it out of devotion. When you love someone, you can accept things or reject things based upon that loving relationship. And cleanliness, internal, external cleanliness, being tolerant, religious, cultivating knowledge, regularly reading Vedic literatures, hearing from those who are teaching the Vedic literatures, and practicing, obviously. Being an exemplar. That's second initiation, means being an exemplar to others. Because people will judge. Also in first initiation, anyone who's a devotee, people will judge the Krishna conscious movement, judge Prabhupada's movement by our actions. As jnana vijnana. Act properly. Prabhupada said the definition of someone who's actually his follower is a perfect gentleman or a perfect lady. In many ways, spiritually and materially. And then people respect that. When people met Prabhupada, they would say, who was that person I met? And they remember for their whole lives, even if they didn't know any philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So, second generation means representative of the Krishna conscious movement. It's like a priestly or ministerial type of initiation. So that's first and second initiation. Okay, so now we will give out the names to the new initiates, if that's all right. Yeah.
Before we do that, we have.
Oh yeah, so the other devotees should speak. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so we can get ready. What was yours?
According to seniority, Ramaya is
Microphone.
according to seniority, Ramaya is the senior devotee here.
Hare Krishna. So we have what is there speak about our project here, what's going on in Orlando. So I'll give you this time to go.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for allowing me to come and be part of this wonderful event. In a little bit aside, but I also work with the devotees in Tampa, and we've been preaching there for now about 10 years. And within the last year, we have 10 devotees taking initiation.
Wow.
So this is a big deal. Here also, four devotees are taking initiation. That means that it reminds me very much of a story about Srila Prabhupada and Tamal Krishna Raj. Tamal Krishna Raj was allowed to come back to the United States to preach, and when Srila Prabhupada came to the U.S. and met Tamal Krishna Raj, he said, okay, so where is the fruit of your preaching? He said, it's so important that you preach here in America. Where's the fruit? So then he opened the door, and one by one, so many brahmacharis came in and bowed at Lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and they became initiated. And Prabhupada said, very good, this is preaching. This is what we like. This is why we're here. It's like His Holiness Bear Krishna Raj is here. I was just meditating on this today, talking with my wife, that this, I know because I'm also getting to that, but he's older and it's like, why is he coming here? To please Srila Prabhupada and to give you all a chance to become connected with Krishna. That's his only purpose. Completely selfish. Selfish. And this is a milestone for Orlando here, because now after some years, COVID, so many things happen. Now a new group of devotees is stepping forward and taking initiation. This is building of the Orlando Yatra. My own experience in Tampa also, I see once the devotees become initiated, they become very eager to share Krishna consciousness with others. It becomes like the prominent thing in their lives. And you can't hold them back after that, because that's why they're here. So I would like to thank Dr. Raj for being so dedicated and his good wife. Faced many challenges, but never once did he waver from his determination to spread Krishna consciousness. So thank you all for allowing me to be part of it.
Haribo.
One wonderful devotee with us is Mother Krishna Priya. So we can also say a few words of encouragement to all of us. Hare Krishna.
Omukanachiranandasya Gyanagana Shalakaya Chak Sumiditanyana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutave Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatari Vitarine Jai Shri Krishna Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'd like to offer my respects unto His Holiness Bear Krishna Goswami and to all the exalted Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis here. And this is so important. Community is so important at these important times in our lives. Just like we know there's a different samskars, and some of them might be to create perfect society or even will be considered material. But this is a spiritual samskara that is the most important decision that we are making in our life. The most important decision. And it's made in front of the assembled devotees with the desire to please give your blessings that these souls can serve their spiritual master, can serve Srila Prabhupada, and Trinadapi Sinechanatavadapi to be humble, to tolerate all the difficulties that would come. So my name is Krishna Priya, and I used to come to and I always thought that this was such an amazing area that something should be done here. You know, something should be done. And in devotional time, we don't understand why things happen the way they happen and what Krishna's plan is. And then we finally learn we have to sometimes put our hands up and just come forward and what it means to. So I have so much. And I'm here because I'm like their family member. Like her dear sister, Krishna Kumari, she wasn't able to come today, so I'm here in her place. And her husband, Satyavata, who also had such a role in Gopish's life, she wasn't able to come, so Rishikesh, their good friend, is here from North Carolina. So we'd like to offer our respects to Rishikesh. So when Bear Krishna Goswami first came to Hillsborough, North Carolina, which does apply to the situation here, there was nobody there. I mean, he like literally camped out in a trailer on someone's house. And then he came onto the property and he was clearing the land himself. The day the deities were installed, he was like building the stairs and fainted before the installation. Personally was having to cook for all the devotees, was having to dress the deities. And I had the good fortune of coming in 1985, and we started the community with just a few of us. But Krishna was testing us in so many ways to see, what do you want? So it's just like when you're going on a trip, you set your GPS. And you're not going to get there all the time right away. So in our devotional life, we're not always going to get where we want to go right away. But we have to actually have that Drita Vrata, that I want to please my guru, and whatever's going on around me, or this person or that person, I don't live in that duality. That's not who I am. So I really want to thank Trijanjali and Dvaipana and our dear Gopisha, for coming forward to help this center. So I knew Gopisha before she was born. I met her mother when she first came. She first came to America before they even knew each other. I met her mother, so she's been completely a part of my life for so many years. And her dedication and her devotion and her simplicity. And sometimes Krishna pushes us out of our comfort zone. Because Surjanjali has always been the kind of person, let me just be in the background and be peaceful, like you, Ratna. Let me be in the background and be peaceful. But then sometimes I get pushed forward to serve. So the last few days I really appreciate the surrender and the sacrifice I see that she's making and that Prabhu is making. And what are they doing it for? It's not for themselves. Like I always say, it's very easy to sit back, drink papaya juice, and visit with our for everyone else. That desire to have a beautiful center where people can come and where young people can come and to hear the holy names and to be able to chant. Because Sri Gurnitai is here and they're orchestrating everything. Why did they come? Nityananda, he is the original spiritual master, the Akhanda Guru. He's so merciful, so he's coming here and he's just giving out the mercy. And he's giving out the mercy to you. And that's why you're crying. Because he's giving you the mercy. He's giving you the mercy. He's giving the mercy to everyone. And he's saying, please come and join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. Come to the And that's so beautiful to be a part of the Sankirtan party. So I really thank all the devotees. Child. And so we all have an investment in helping each other in each other's Krishna consciousness. And I'm very grateful to His Holiness Bear Krishna Maharaj. I guess it was like 1978 when he had just taken sannyasi. He was very heavy in those days. And I won't tell anyone about it. But I was so grateful because I had that good training in devotional service. So that when all the different trials and tribulations had in life it was there. And those of you that are coming in contact with him, you're fortunate because he's a very... They don't want the shelter, fine, they'll go on with life. But those that take shelter, then he'll help them in so many practical ways. So I don't want to go on forever. It's like my nature to go on forever. This is not my class. If you want me... Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Normally 80s after 20 years you come back now, or 40 years now. So we have also His Grace Guru Rangababu.
Guru Garanga.
No, so I spoke a little.
Prangovinda.
Hare Krishna. It was wonderful to hear Marge speak, and it's wonderful to see all the new initiates, and some of them we've known since they were younger. So it makes you start feeling old when you speak. So, and it's wonderful to see Krishna Priya. I haven't seen you for so long. Everybody was talking, I was thinking about how Prabhupada established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And Prabhupada once said that my disease is that I don't like to think small, I like to think big. And we can see Prabhupada acting on that, and he did something very wonderful. And I think that all of his temples around the world have to imbibe that desire to expand the mission. And I feel that this ceremony of initiation is part of becoming one of those soldiers in the battle of, we have to have unity and diversity. Prabhupada wanted us to cooperate. So this idea of society is the idea of cooperation. And when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, when they moved the temple, the deities from the small temple that they had been renting to the larger temple, which was now built for the Lord, he wrote a poem in which he said, Mattala Harijana Vishaya Range. So he basically was saying, and then Pujala, what was the other part? Raghupati. Pujala Raghupati Gaurava Bange. So in this one little poem, he was saying that the devotees of the Lord, they get involved in the material energy. And they do amazing things. He actually uses this word which means amazing. So Vishaya means poison. The material world can be poison. So, Mattala Harijana Vishaya Range. They do these amazing things within the material energy. But they keep the Ragapata, the path of love and devotion, in awe and reverence in a distant place. So this comes to the same instruction that Srila Prabhupada gave us, which was work now, samadhi later. So this opportunity of youth and being initiated is that enthusiasm and endeavor to serve the spiritual master. And when we see young devotees, it's like seeing a new baby that's been born. They have all the most perfect features. Every cell is very nice. And they're not like us when we get old. We get liver marks on our skin and all these wrinkles. So I was always amazed at how new devotees just being initiated, they were almost like pure devotees. Everything was so perfect. So that enthusiasm and cooperation together of, having this as our society. Some people want to vote for a Democrat or for a Republican. We vote for Srila Prabhupada. That's what we vote for. And we don't think about anything else except Prabhupada's mission with complete focus, Eke Ha Kurunandana. So I just wanted to mention to the initiates that please bless us also with your newborn enthusiasm and give us that enthusiasm back just by seeing you. So thank you, everybody.
Haribol!
one part of this also, like Adityanand will also say a few words before you begin the ceremony. Since you will be here with us and see this progress, follow the ceremony.
Hare Krishna. So, first of all, I would like to thank Prabhupada and Prabhu and Shraddhanjali Mataji for inviting us here. So, as it's been a blessing to come back. So, thank you for inviting us. I just want to mention this one point in Srimad Bhagavatam, the second canto. There's this whole dialogue between Brahmaji and Lord Sri Krishna. And Prabhupada actually, so Brahma actually, he hears the word tapa. And Krishna actually says that I myself said this word tapa. And Prabhupada makes that point that Brahma received spiritual initiation from Krishna. And in that section, Prabhupada actually says that anyone coming in that connection, down from Krishna to Brahma to Narada to Vyas, anyone who is connecting officially with that parampara, he is blessed with that same spiritual potency that Krishna actually is going to come. So each one of you, actually we all who are initiated, we are like so fortunate. We are receiving that same spiritual potency, that same transcendental sound which Krishna actually came to Brahma, and that same spiritual potency is coming to all of us. And in that section, Prabhupada makes the point that once you are connected with this official, this bona fide parampara, just like Krishna actually gave Brahma the power to create, he is actually empowering each one of us. So as Guru Varanga Prabhu was actually just saying, I was thinking of this point that now you all, those are receiving initiation today, you are blessed with that spiritual potency coming down from Krishna. So now is the time to do amazing things. Go out and spread Krishna consciousness and preach the message all over. Like I have a very hard connection with Orlando because I spent many years here, and I'm so happy to see all of you taking the next step. And we just pray to Shri Nitaya, this empowerment comes with your endeavors to go out and preach Krishna consciousness. I just want to say that. Hare Krishna.
Okay, you can call the name.
All right, you ready?
Initiation began officially.
When they come around taking the
First they pay obeisances to Srila Prabhupada,
Yeah.
Guru and then Maharaj.
right, and
And then to their parents, if their presence here, will be nice.
and then you can talk about those.
And then I'll call the well-wisher family's parents. If you can say a few words about the person you have raised to a level where dedicating fully to the lotus feet of Lord under his guidance with Krishna Maharaj. That will be wonderful. So Maharaj, you can begin with the name.
Okay,
Should they change their neck beads?
change the neck beads.
So everyone has followed the like beats. Please go ahead.
Mataji, can you
Change neck beads, 3 strands of neck beads. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
We're going to give one.
She's come.
She can come here or not? The guy
No, here, she can.
I have to.
She can come here.
The guy go there.
She was.
Oh, you want to be?
She wants
You can go. Yes. Right. You guys first.
The second initiates don't have to change the neck beads.
Take the neck, take the garland first.
Everyone can please join us.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, so when Maharaj calls your name, Prabhuji and Maharaj, you please come and pay obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Maybe we can have little room here. Haribol. When Maharaj calls whoever name, please come and pay obeisances to Prabhupada, deity and to Maharaj, and then go to your parents if they are here, also take their blessing. Very nice.
All right, let's go. Okay, so first is Lord Brahma.
The last day to call it Brahmaji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
To the deities.
say the deity.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Say the pranam mantra of Maharaj, huh? Namo Brahmaji. Maharaj is pranam.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
What?
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Yeah. Okay, it's a long. So what we do is we ask the initiates about the four regular principles and how many rounds. So this is the bow in front of the deities, in front of Prabhupada, in front of the Vaishnavas, and in front of my not so humble self. So, in front of the, I want to get you to your friends on the computer. Just to make
Brahmaji
sure
say it loudly, huh?
your friend is watching. So anyway, so what are the four regular principles you're vowing to follow?
No meat, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling.
What about fish and eggs?
Huh?
You said no meat.
No fish, no
No meat,
eggs.
fish, or eggs. And no lobsters either? Or crustaceans?
No.
Okay, I'm teasing. How many rounds do you chant every day?
At least 16 and more on Ekadasi.
Okay, if you could do more on Akasi, it's always very nice. So you get the beads with your right hand, and your name now is Rajendra Kumar.
I would ask Brajendra Kumar Prabhu's wife to say one or two words how she feels about this.
Wait. You put her on the spot. Later.
I'm very happy for Rajendra Krishna Das.
Rajendra Kumar.
Rajendra Kumar Das. Prabhu. It's his commitment, passion and enthusiasm towards Krishna that has brought him to this important day in his life.
Haribol!
Okay, next is Gopesha.
While Mother Gopesha pay obeisances, I would like her parents to say something about her. You have brought her to this point. Please say, how did you raise her to this point of life?
Well, the raising part was done mostly by her. So she did most of the work for her. And then Gopisha herself, has been inspired when she went to Golaka once and met Maharaj and had his class. And Maharaj, I wanted to talk to her. And he said, okay, that's good. Are you sure you're pretty young at this age? He said, I feel like Maharaj can help me, guide me, pull me through. I said, great, then let's do this. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. Mother Shraddhanjali, one word, something.
Gopisha is a sweet girl. I love her so much. And I'm so happy today.
That her parents educated her in Krishna consciousness. So they gave her all of her education, material and spiritual education. And she grew up to be a gem, a diamond. I said about one devotee, and I say the same thing about weight in diamonds. Usually they say gold, but you know, say diamonds.
Principles are no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling.
And how many rounds every day?
A minimum of 16 rounds every day and one Ekadashi.
One Ekadasi. Usually on Ekadasi, I'm not saying that you should do this. On Ekadasi I try to chant 64 if I don't have anything else to do. And it really changes my life when I do that. So that's very good. I know in Fiji, where your father's from, that we also, but I won't add it for you, the additional no kava.
Oh.
Because in Fiji, it's really interesting. It's one of the, let's say, the rituals they do at the temples. Not our temples, of course. They take kava and they remain intoxicated all night. At the Ram Mandalis there in Fiji. So, of course, we won't say that because you don't even know what kava is. So anyway, you get the beads. So your name, right, you get the beads with your right hand, and your name now is Gopi Baba Devi Dasi. So that's it.
Wow.
Pretty amazing name, isn't it?
Yeah.
That means the ecstasy or the emotions of the gopis, which are the topmost devotees of Krishna. So anyway, Gopi Baba Devi, you like that name?
Beautiful name.
Gopi Baba. And I just got the name of some alcoholic beverage when I got this. Isn't it? I mean, people say, "What's your name?" It's easy. Same thing as the alcoholic beverage. Here. So the next, actually, ladies first. Rayhana will do next.
While Mother Rehana Pay obeisance says, I would like Bhaktabi's mother to say something about her. Now Rehana comes from a Muslim family. I had a nice talk with her, and she has 7 siblings. One of the twins are very much into Hare Krishna Mahamantra because of her influence. They all come from a Muslim family. And her father, a devout Muslim man, actually make a lot of fun with the Hare Krishna, and he dances with Hare Krishna. And now, finally, she told me that he's going to become vegan. Give up cow. So she is bringing whole family, a Muslim family, to become Hare Krishna. So wonderful. Please say something because you know her also.
Rayhana is a wonderful woman, a wonderful friend, a wonderful family. She's hard, she's dedicated to whatever she puts her mind to. She's dedicated to her studies, dedicated to her work, and dedicated to your Hare Krishna.
Right.
I've learned a lot through her, through her and Bernard. I obviously am not Hare Krishna, but I do open up my home to them and to whatever they feel comfortable practicing. I don't want my home to be a place of no practice. They're open. My home is open to them and to their beliefs because they're my children, and I love them both.
Haribo!
That's nice. So, what are the 4 regular principles?
The 4 regular principles is no meat, no eggs, no fish, no onion and garlic, no intoxications, no illicit sex, and no gambling.
Very good. And no kava.
And no cover.
Because you don't know what that is. And so, how many rounds do you chant every day?
At least 16.
At least 16.
And on a Kaddishi more.
If you can, there's no requirement like that. So you get the beads with your right hand. So your name now is Radhika Rupa Devi Dasi. What?
Wow.
Wonderful.
Radhika
Wow.
Rupa Devi Das.
You can tell where my sentiments are. Anyways, the namesake. And so, Buck Bernard is last one.
So Bhakti is a wonderful devotee. I have to also say some words for him. One of the first devotees who joined in our Thursday programs, and he never stopped going back. So I'm going to tell the story how he came, and there's a sister here.
Hare Krishna. My reverence to all devotees. I am so very happy to be here today. I never imagined I would be here today in the initiation of my little brother. So it's such a blessing. I thank you all for accepting him as family. And I am very proud and hopeful to be part of every step that he takes as advancement in Krishna consciousness.
Just give me a second. I can't live unless I'm online. So anyway, so what are the 4 regulating principles?
I promise I'm not going to eat meat, fish, eggs, gammon.
Oh, good. He's a real
I
disciple.
promise that I'm not going to have illicit sex. I promise that I'm not going to gamble, and I promise that absolutely no intoxication.
Okay, except for the holy name.
Except for the holy name.
That intoxication is bona fide. All right, so how many rounds do you chant every day?
16 rounds minimum, and on Kaddishi more.
Okay, so you ready for your name?
Yes, Maharaj.
You really ready? He's really enthusiastic.
He's fired up.
That is so funny. So anyway, so your name now, get your B's with your right. Your right hand. Your name now is Bhaja Govinda Das.
Wow.
1 second.
Thank you. Bernard, I love you. I don't understand everything here, but I am observing you, observing everyone. I see the enthusiasm. I see what you guys are going through. I understand. As your mom, please know, I'll never turn my back on you. I'll always be there for you. Okay? I love you. Bernard is a very dedicated, very hardworking person since he was a little boy. And he has brought that to everything he does. And congratulations to you and to Rehan and to everyone.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, Maharaj, it's okay. I said enough. I love you, Maharaj. I love all the devotees in Orlando. You are all wonderful. Srila Prabhupada ki. We all love. Actually, I'm learning how to surrender under his guidance. He's so perfect example in my life. Thank you for being an example of a great dedicated Srila Prabhupada's commander in this ISKCON movement. And you all are recruiting. You'll be surprised. Maharaj is one of the head in our movement. Please, Dr. Parnat, Bhaja Govinda Prabhu now. Bhaja Govinda Prabhu, you may never know. He could be the leading leader in future of ISKCON. This is Maharaj is just opening. That movement has to push, go forward, go forward. So thank you. This is a wonderful event. Thank you, Maharaj.
You're going to be the leader.
He's got plans for you.
Yes, I have plans.
He's got big plans.
We're going to rescue you. Oh, I meant to say this, but I know I'll get in trouble. We're going to rescue you from Alachua.
Oh, yes.
Because Alachua, you know, why you should be stuck in a little place like Alachua when there's the big world. Like Prabhupada even said about Lord Chaitanya, he said, Lord Chaitanya left his little world to, isn't it? There's some statement like that. To join the big world and preach Krishna consciousness in Mayapur. So Mayapur is wonderful. It's a place where Prabhupada worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But there's a big world out there. So our business is to bring Mayapur and Vrindavan to everyone, every town and village. And the interesting thing is that if a real leader is always trying to assign his service to others so he can move on and do more for Krishna, because Prabhupada always wanted to do more. He gave the service and management to the GBC, empowered so many devotees around the world. Or he could translate his books, he can make more devotees, keep traveling around the world. So, yeah. So don't remain compact within your little village of Alachua. I know I will not get invited to Alachua after this. Don't tell Mukya.
I'm more outside of that.
Okay, good. Good. He's a partner in crime. And we're actually very happy to see Guru Garanga. Here's my old friend, and just it's very nice because he just reminds me of Bhakti Maharaj all the time. And yeah, he Bhakti Maharaj spent more time in America with him than anyone else. He knows Bhakti Maharaj was coming back to the United States to preach in the Orlando area. That was his primary intention. He was upset that there weren't enough Western people joining the movement, isn't it? He'll agree with me on that. And that's what he wanted to establish, like dynamic Western preaching in the Orlando area. So this is also fulfilling the desire of Bhakti Maharaj. So now we can continue. As far as that place.
Om Asya Kamanam Punyaham Bhavantu Om Punyaham Om Punyaham Om Punyaham Om Asya Kamanam Swasti Bhavantu Bhavantu Ayushman Swasti Om Swasti Om Swasti Om Swasti Om Asya Karvam Riddhim Bhavantu Bhavantu Om Ridhyatam Om Ridhyatam Om Ridhyatam. No audio shades. You can take a few drops of water in your right hand. You can just add, you have a bowl with rice, so just add few grains of rice to the water. So take water in your right hand and just add few grains of rice into the water. Just pour. Om Tat Sat Shri Govinda Govinda Govinda. Om Tat Sat Shri Govinda 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 Asya Subhatito. Now we are all initiated. Maharaj has given you the new name. So now we all are in the Gotra of Lord Shri Krishna himself. So we all belong to the Achyuta Gotra, and everyone can say your initiated name now.
Om Krishna.
Shri Krishna Pritya Artham Upanayam Samskara Karmaham Karishye, and let the water just flow through your fingers on the ground. Just the grace. So this is called the Sankalpa. We have actually said that I, and now you are the new initiated name belonging to Achyuta Gotra, are taking this vow for Shri Krishna Pritya Artham. We are doing this for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna. But you all have sheets. Just see the sheets and you can chant. So we all chant the Brahma Samhita together.
Yeah, go ahead.
So please everyone join us. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anamya Govinda Sarvakara Chintamani Pradara Sarva Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Kriteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhrava Sevyamadam Govindamadi Purusham Namah Bhajami Venum Kananta Maravinda Dalaya Taksham Bharatam Samasitam Mudha Sundaram Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Namah Bhajami Alola Chandra Kala Sarpa Namalya Vamsi Ratnam Pranaya Keli Kala Vilasam Samam Vibhanga Dalitam Niyata Prakasam Govindamadi Purusham Namam Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Prithimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sattvara Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Namah Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayam Ja Vedeshu Durlabh Govindamadi Purusham Namah Bhajami Panamastu Bodhi Sadavatsara Samprakanyo Vayota Manaso Munikundavana Sokasti Yatra Padasimna Vichitchatate Govindamadi Purusham Namah Bhajami Eko Vishwara Janitam Jagadanda Kotim Jajshakti Rasti Jagadanda Jayaya Ranga Andantarasta Paramanu Jayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Namah Bhajami Jayabhava Pampitatyo Manujasta Taiva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Bhusha Shute Yameva Nigama Prakitaistuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Namah Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavikavi Tavirya Eva Nija Rupa Taya Kaladi Golak Govindamadi Purusham Namah Bhajami Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Viloka
Rupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramani Murti Shupalani Amena Tishtam Nanavadaram Kumaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramakumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabham Jagananda Koti Koti Shashesha Vasudhali Vikuti Vinam Tadbrahmanishkalamananta Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Maya Vilasya Jagatanda Sadani Sute Traigunyatar Vishayavena Vitayamana Sattvavanam Viparasattva Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasatmakaya Manasu Yapraninam Jatiparam Saranam Upekya Leela Bhuvanani Jayapyajasram Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Nikare Satasya Devi Mahisha Harinama Sukeshu Keshu Dete Prabhava Jaya Vihitasayena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Eka Chare Vajasya Bhuvanani Vivarti Durga Ishanurupa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shriram Yadada Vinikada Visesa Yoga Sanjayate Nahitata Pratarasti Heto Yasambhutam Abhitata Samupaitikarya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dipajireva Hidashantaramavyupeta Dipaya Devi Vritahetu Samana Dharma Yastagrideva Hija Vishnu Taya Vipati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Jakaranam Pajatisma Yoga Nidram Ananta Jagaranta Saropa Kupa Adhara Shakti Madalam Yaparam Samurtim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Jasya Dhanishya Siddhapala Madhavalamya Jivanti Noma Vinata Jagadandanata Vishnur Mahan Sahiharyasya Kala Vishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Vasana Sastha Sakaleshu Nijeshu Teja Shriyam Piyat Pragatayat Kavikartadatra Brahmaya Esha Jagadanda Vidhana Karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Jayatara Pallavalutam Vinidaya Kumbha Gandhe Pranama Samaye Saganadiraja Vinam Nihantam Alamasya Kadatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Arnir Mahika Ganama Marudishascha Kalastatadma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmat Bhavanti Vibhavanti Vishanti Yamcha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yaschakshuresha Sapita Sakalagrahana Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Teja Yasya Gaya Brahmati Sampritagala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dharma Papa Nichaya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Jasvanatopamatavinda Mahosakarma Bandhanurupa Balavajana Matanoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Chabhakti Vajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Jamrodata Sajapranayami Kiti Vasalya Moha Gaura Seva Bhave Sanjintatasya Sadrishim Tanuma Purete Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Sriyanta Bhakta Purusha Kalpaka Druma Visthita Madina Mahitoyamam Kadam Natyam Gamanam Api Vamsi Priyasari Chiranandam Jyoti Paramapi Radha Sajata Shirati Sarati Surabhi Vascha Sumahan Nimesha Rauto Prajati Nahi Yatra Visamaya Bhale Seta Dipamai Bhalola Samtinam Vedantas Santa Kiti Vinalachara Ishara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Anadiyadi Govinda Sarvakarana
Brahma Samhita ki Sanat Kumaro Vato Kamadeva Daya Shisha Mahapati Deva Helana Deva Shivarya Purushantaratara Kurmo Hari Mam Nireyad Ashesha. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Prajapati Vishnu Rishi Viti Chandraha Shri Vishnu Devate Agni Stapane Vidyogaha Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Om Rama Hare Rama Rama. Please everyone continue chanting. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Om Samudbhava Nama Kinkina Tachantam Samudbhava Namasti Avayami Stapayami Prabhu Kripaya Swagatam Kuru. Dipati eva tatantaram abhyupeta dipayite trivita hetu samana dhamma yastagra eva cha vishtutaya vipati govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami.
Om Vishnu Param Param Sada Pasyanti Surya Deva Chatukartham Samindriti Vishnu Surya Param Om Krishna Vai Sachinandanam Krishna Adi Krishna Krishna Babu Karmadi Moolam Krishna Tava Sarvaya Karya Krishna Karta Krit Adi Mukha Prabhu Puja Krishna Nadis Tasme Ajadanta Bhaye Yan Mangalam Tad Labate Kriti Om Tad Vishnu Param Sada Pasyanti Surya Deva Chatukartham Tad Vipraso Vipravo Jagvimasa Samindati Parampadam Aham Kritum Aham Yajna Swadaham Aham Osadam Mantro Aham Datu Swasti Swasti Tu Makarin Kesho Maha Sri Krishna Sachidananda Gana Sarveshwaresho Dadatu Om Was Om Was Kaha Idam Vishnu Om Was Swaha Idam Om Was Swaha Idam Om Bhurvat Swaha Hare Krishna. So we are going to recite the entire mantra prayers. After every mantra, we say Swaha 3 times. All the initiates can take grains from your bowl. You take it in the finger, please. Right? In the hand down, you offer it.
Maharaj, would you like something?
No, I don't have to do it. Prabhupada didn't do it.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Jatsurundritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Anyam Krishna Namyena Bhutale. Repeat. Well, you do each word at a time. Like Om, Om.
Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Janakaya Jatsurundritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Yam Rupa Namayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Viguru Sriyuta Padakamalam Viguru Vaisnavamsya Srirupam Sagrajatam Natam Pitam Tam Sajivam Bhagavaitam Bhagavadutam Haridasa Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Viratha Krishna Padam Samakam Lalita Sri Vishakhanditamscha Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Krishna Goswami Namine
Yes, I do, but I don't know. But I don't stand it.
The initiates need to know what the Pranam mantra. You must know what the Pranam mantra is. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Namo Hamsa Nikashaya Prabhupada Vyayita Sudi Vistavya Satya Bhakyano Vadine Swaha Swaha Gopika Kanta Kanta Namaste Swami Swami Get down to the soul Sango Mama Mantra Mate Gati Man Sarvasya Padam Bhoja Madana Mohana Divya Vrindaranya Alpadaha Srimaranagara Sanasto Srimaradha Gita Govinda Iskandi Yamanu Paradi Gopi State Namaha Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Krishna Gadadhara Adi Gaura Bhakta Om Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Om Hare Krishna Om Hare Krishna You can hold the banana between your two hands.
What's that? Prabhupada didn't do it. What? No, don't overrate because Prabhupada didn't do it. Prabhupada would sit on the Vyasasana and they would, it wasn't Prabhupada's standard. What? Yeah. Prabhupada just had the initials. Yeah, Prabhupada never did. It started, a lot of things started there. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram.
Om Brahman Devaya Hare Krishnaya Mukhtaya Namo Namaha Om Brahman Devaya Hare Krishnaya Namo Namaha